Just to summarize before we proceed further, yesterday, in just about a page, a little more than a page, Shubindu reveals to us the secret of love. Love, he reveals, is a glory from eternity's sphere. In one of our experiences in 1962, the mother recounts that as she was journeying deeper and deeper into the heart of creation, far beyond everything, form and formless, she experiences light, then consciousness, then love. She says light and even consciousness comes out of love. Love is at the very origin. So it is the power which carries with it the ultimate mandate, the supreme power of this miracle of transformation. Even in inconscient, as we read yesterday, it can wake up some memory of the self, some yearning for the higher light and truth. It is the supreme power of transfiguration. But Sri Aurobindo also reveals to us that this power, though it has been laboring in creation since the very beginning, yet it is deformed, debased, distorted by the mind, vital and body, which basically form the trilogy of or the triple kingdom where falsehood, unconsciousness and death reigns. So they deform this power. The moment this power enters into a mortal heart, instantly the mind holds it, possesses it, and it disfigures it already by saying, here is somebody who is meant for me. So it has already taken the stamp of the ego. The vital begins to crave for what it is going to get out of that. Hunger for affection. Again the stamp of the ego. The passions, the turbulences, hatred, jealousies that follow, appropriation, possessiveness, everything deforms and debases it. And yet, of all the powers of the divine, this does not give up. It continues to labor to change all this into some semblance of the life divine. So this is what we read yesterday, and in human beings, this power finds its utmost expression in the embodied divine as Savitri. She brings with her that power of love for the whole creation, though it appears to be acting on few souls who have been called and chosen for a specific purpose. But she brings that power for the entire creation. It also finds expression in the mother elsewhere has said, in the human mothers, something of this power finds some kind of an expression. And again, its highest point is when human heart turns towards the divine in a yearning. Then one can experience this power in some purity. In normal human relations, it's very difficult to touch this purity. But when the heart yearns for the divine, turns to the divine in a state of self-abandonment, utter self-giving, then one can feel something of the touch of that eternity in this longing, in this receiving. And that's why bhakti is so much celebrated in human thought, in mystic poetry. Having said that, someone has to embody and give us an example of this, because everything on earth is distorted. So Savitri is the divine incarnate, and she and Satyavan, the representative of the human soul aspiring towards the divine, become representative to set for us an example, a benchmark, a higher standard, so that we are not deceived by powers that imitate it or debase it. So it's only when we have seen the real diamond that we know what is artificial diamond and what is the real diamond. And we have that Bismarck, that BIS marks, ISI mark. So the divine becomes human to set the standard, what really love is, what this power is, so that we too can try to become like that. And as Savitri reveals later on to death, my love is not a hunger of the heart, my love is not a craving of the flesh, So therefore she can command death that, look, you have to set aside and allow my force to pass and bring back Satyavan. So Savitri brings that power with her, and she and Satyavan have been engaged life after life in this very work. What is this work? We are given a glimpse to establish the highest power of love upon earth. So it may look like what kind of work it is. It is the work, if one may use the expression, work of works. When we read the synthesis, Sri Aurobindo speaks of two kinds of works: the works of knowledge, and then he speaks of the works of love. Love, and how love works in this creation. So they have come together from lives to lives just to reveal what this true power can be and what it can do. Though we don't even have a glimpse of that. So this is what we read yesterday. Too far from the divine, love seeks his truth, and life is blind and the instruments deceive. And powers are there that labor to debase, primarily the ego and the desired self. Still can the vision come, the joy arrive. Rare is the cup fit for love's nectar wine, as rare this vessel that can hold God's birth. His soul made ready through 1,000 years is the living mold of a supreme descent. This is page 398. So Savitri and Satyavan, through thousands of years, they have been laboring to establish this power. In one of his letters, Sri Aurobindo reveals to Dilip Kumar Roy that, of course, we are here to bring down for the descent of Ananda and love. But we have found in our experience that unless truth consciousness creates a base, it is not possible to have it. But the moment it enters into the earth, it gets distorted, disfigured. So first, high truth must set on earth's feet, as later on in Savitri this revelation comes. It is only after the supramental truth consciousness has completely eliminated the ego self, prepared the ground of nature, then this highest power can really come and have its free play. Otherwise, in human nature as it is today, it cannot have its free play. It immediately will change into something else. But these two have labored, so these knew each other. Though in forms thus strange, although to sight unknown, through life and mind, had altered to hold a new significance. So even though life and mind and body, they have changed, something within continues the journey. This is our journey, real journey, which nothing can mar. Even death cannot stop. It can only temporarily pause. There is only a pause button in life. There is no stop button. God has not created it. There is no stop button. There is no undo. There is no rewind actually. Because this life always moves forward, and that's where the great hope lies. Death is a pause, as Sri Aurobindo says, a stumbling stair the soul must cross. It's just a stair through which we stumble towards something still greater, still greater. And when we look at it like that, then actually the sting of death is taken away. Even though, of course, our hearts do feel grief because we are living in ignorance. But when we look at it like that, that the aspiration is not lost, the journey is never lost, the effort so far is not lost, it continues. So here we have this great hope that they have summed, these bodies summed the drift of numberless births. After many, many years, they have become ready for this kind of a embodying this love. And we are in such a hurry always to have experiences of the divine and have this and have that. But how patiently the divine himself labors to uncover a little bit of his vision, to reveal a little bit of his glory in mud and clay. And the spirit to the spirit was the same. Amazed by a joy for which they had waited long, the lovers met upon their different paths, travelers across the limitless plains of time. So wherever this kind of a true love embodies itself, it will find and discover itself. It doesn't matter. it may be very far for the joy of the play, for the sake of the play, it will end up discovering. So, this is what is being revealed to us. Together drawn from fate-led journeyings in the self-closed solitude of their human past, to a swift, rapturous dream of future joy and the unexpected present of these eyes. By the revealing greatness of a look, form smitten, the spirit's memory woke incense. Suddenly the form served only as an entry point. Form smitten. So what did the form smite? Suddenly a memory woke up in the very senses. But in which kind of sense? The spirit sense. The spirit recognized through an unknown face, familiar splendors, familiar stories. Suddenly there was a connectedness at a very deep level. The mist was stone that lay between two lives. Her heart unveiled and his to find her turned. This unveiling is there in the next canto at great length. Attracted as in heaven star by star, they wondered at each other and rejoiced, and wove affinity in a silent gaze, without asking anything, without question, without answer. They just knew each other. A moment passed that was eternity's ray. So often we hear these cliches, live in the present, here and now, just be, being. So, but actually these terms really derive their significance that when that present moment is suffused by the eternal's touch. So, live in the present will carry a sense only if it is live in the eternal present. Otherwise, it doesn't carry any sense, because anyways, whether we like it or not, we are drifting in the present. Because present may bring all kinds of things. But here there was a moment when Savitri and Satyavan look upon each other. There was a touch of the eternal. Just as the soul looks out on the divine, on the incarnate divine, on the guru or the master, that moment, its fate is sealed. After that, hundreds, thousands difficulties may come. But the fate is sealed for ages to come. It will unfold itself. How the mother has revealed that I never forget those even whom I have seen for a second. I always remember, and I hold myself responsible for them even when they have revolted and gone away. This is love. And at that moment when the soul recognizes the divine in the master, or recognizes the master in a human body, at that moment its fate is sealed, just like Savitri and Satyavan, because it's a moment touched by the eternity's ray. An hour began, the matrix of new time. And when that hope happens, a new line of evolution begins to open. Our old Hastarekha become meaningless, because now there is another power that has been added to us. So when people would go to mother and ask about the Graha Nakshatra and all these things and astrology and palmistry, etc., the mother would say it's no more applies to those who have turned towards the spiritual life, because a new power begins to operate. And the more we activate this power within us, the power of love for the master, for the mother, for the divine, and the more by actually that power is always loving us, but by our love we become more receptive and open, that's all. And that power begins to more and more enrich us, enslave us, carry us. Then all these other forces which have acted so far to find our destiny, form our destiny, they begin to fade away. So it becomes the matrix of a new time. Till now, time has conspired to create this present for us. And it was conspiring to create a future. But now suddenly, by the grace, by the marvel of those wonderful eyes, by the miraculous alchemy of love, all these powers which were working, even they begin to change. Not only our destiny begins to change, all the powers that were operating upon our lives, even people who are connected to us, everything begins to change because of the presence of that wonderful power. So here it is, an hour began, the matrix of new time. A new time starts with love. Then we have Canto 3, Satyavan and Savitri. Obviously, we can't finish it today. We have just another half an hour. But we'll definitely flow with it as far as we go. Who can ever finish Savitri? Even if we have read all the lines. At one place, Mother says, I have a feeling that it is incomplete. There is more which he wanted to write. And she talks about Savitri after reading the last 3 lines. And in her bosom she nursed a greater dawn. Actually, Savitri, if you look at it like that, there is something more. It gives the sense of something more which he wants to write, But naturally, obviously, we are not ready. We will be ready in some future age. Satyavan and Savitri. This canto, for us, it applies as our souls and the Divine Mother. So this is what we are, because it's the Satyavan is a representative of the soul, human soul, and it's about the mystic marriage, which maybe next time we'll see. Out of the voiceless mystery of the past, in a present ignorant of forgotten bonds, these spirits met upon the roads of time. Yet in the heart, their secret conscious selves at once aware grew of each other, warned by the first call of a delightful voice and the first vision of the destined face. So this is how love comes to us, and there is suddenly something which opens up, something which had forgotten. Outward consciousness has forgotten, outer being. But deep inside there is someone who remembers. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. So within all that is unconscious, there is something which is conscious, which remembers, and suddenly it wakes up to a memory. As when being cries to being from its depths, behind the screen of the external sense, and strives to find the heart disclosing word. What is that word which will best represent one's anguish, aspiration, prayer from the depths? That call, it's amazing, these 3 lines. The point comes when one really doesn't know what is the right, what words would really embody that aspiration. And the Mother says that this is one of the difference. There can be aspiration without words. And it takes long for that revelation to sink within us. Not only there can be aspiration without words, a time comes when one aspires without knowing what words can actually embody that aspiration. Any word you say becomes like a degradation. It comes down many notches below. Because all human words, human language are distorted. So here there is a voiceless cry from the depths, and strives to find the heart disclosing word. The passionate speech revealing the soul's need. Instantly these words get distorted by the human mind, the meanings. But the mind's ignorance veils the inner sight. Only a little breaks through our earth-made bounds. So now they met in that momentous hour. And all these words have been obviously defiled by the human tongue. The word love is one of the one which has suffered the most defiling. So much so that when somebody uses the word in today's context, it almost means that, oh, you mean you are going to betray, you are going to hurt, you are going to harm, because this word has lost its power, its sanctity. All the words practically, God. That's why the Mother did not like to use this word God. She says because it has created a different image in the human consciousness. A God who punishes, a God who rewards, a God who is sitting above with a beard, with a stick in his hand, a carrot in another. So she says so many images come into the human mind flash with the word God that I don't want to use this word. And therefore both Mother and Sri Aurobindo have preferred the word divine. Because God has been already corrupted in the human consciousness. So also the word love has been totally corrupted in the human consciousness. What with Valentine Day and all this around and all this angama. I mean, love has lost its meaning. It just becomes like a heart which one just gives away and takes away or just throws around. So here is love in its original glory, which is being revealed to us, even and through a human persona. So utter the recognition in the deeps, the remembrance lost, the oneness felt and missed. How beautiful these lines are. Something within felt and knew, but what it is. So Sri Aurobindo's lines, felt and missed. There is something which is recognizing, and yet one is groping for words, fumbling for speech, trying to understand what it is, and one cannot. It defies logic, defies understanding. Thus Satyavan spoke first to Savitri. So it is he who speaks. Savitri has come all the way, and look at what marvelous expressions. O thou who comest to me out of time's silences. What language Sri Aurobindo uses. If only human love could be placed at that level. He is setting for us such a high standard. O thou who comest to me out of time's silences, yet thy voice has wakened my heart to an unknown bliss. Immortal or mortal only in thy frame, for more than earth speaks to me from thy soul. So when you speak, suddenly I feel it's not just an earthly voice. Why? Because now love has touched it. So when love touches, everything assumes a different color. And when it's the highest form of love, then what magic it would create. Suddenly, the same as we have read earlier, to earthly truths gives heaven semblances. It recreates heaven here. More than earth speaks to me from thy soul, and more than earth surrounds me in thy gaze. How art thou named among the sons of men? So there is something, you don't seem to be an earthly being. Who are you? What name are you known? How art thou named? What a way to ask. Whence hast thou dawned, filling my spirit's days? Brighter than summer, brighter than my flowers, into the lonely borders of my life? Oh, sunlight molded like a golden maid? He is not just seeing her as a human figure, not just saying, oh, you look very nice, beautiful, what a dress you are wearing. It goes beyond all physical sense to something which is deep inside, that it looks like sunlight has come down, assuming a form. So I have seen the form, what is your name? Tell me. Of course, a name also embodies that. Who are you who is stepping out of time's silences suddenly in my lonely days, as if a goddess has walked into my life? I know that mighty gods are friends of earth. Amid the pageantries of day and dusk, long have I travelled with my pilgrim soul, moved by the marvel of familiar things. So slowly he's saying that, revealing a little bit about himself also, that I know that gods sometimes come on earth. But I'm surprised. Why would a goddess suddenly come and invade a mortal heart? I feel that sense in you. This experience human beings have when they love. So is that love false? Now if we read through Savitri, we get it. No. Always in every love there is a touch of gold. But the instruments deceive, they debase. Very soon ego comes in, desire comes in, and they debase everything, defile everything, because these are the ones which begin to want something for themselves from that power. The original movement of love is to give. Wherever the sense of giving oneself is born, even for one moment, there is love. That's how Mother defines. She says at one place, they speak of the rights of love. This is the modern conception. Legal rights. I love, therefore I have this right over you. So the mother says they speak of rights of love, but the only right of love is to give oneself. This is the only right. So if you love someone, you have the right to give yourself. There is no other right. How beautiful it is. So wherever for one moment, whether it be in the relation of a mother to a child, in the relation of a friend to a friend, in the relation of a man to a woman or woman to a man, in the relation of a disciple to the master, if for a moment one has felt like giving oneself completely and entirely, then there is true love. But if there is any other movement, how it will benefit me, what I will gain, how it will look, all other considerations, then it is no more love but something else. But even when this movement is in its purity, it gets sullied and marred very soon because human nature is not ready. Earth could not hide from me the powers she veils, even though moving mid an earthly scene and the common surfaces of terrestrial things, my vision saw unblinded by her forms. The Godhead looked at me from familiar scenes. So Satyavan is saying, don't think that I am just telling all this to flatter you. Because many times people say these things to flatter. No, I have that vision. I have seen very often from familiar scenes, something else look at me. And he will reveal what are those things. Because he has grown up in the school of nature, which is the best school. Because it teaches integrally. No other school can teach integrally. Because in every other school there are classes, compartments. First there is geography, then history, then physics, then philosophy. That is not integral teaching. By its nature it is not integral. Wherever there are periods you cannot have integral teaching. True integral teaching is that simultaneously everything is present. For instance, when we look at a flower, it is at once a creation of physics, chemistry, art, music, poetry, love, power, light, fragrance. Everything is there in that flower, in that form. Geometry, geography, history. Just a flower contains everything. And actually all creations on earth are by their nature integral. But when we teach subjects separately, and mother used to say this, that you cannot, when people asked how to teach spirituality, she says again and again you make the same distinction between spiritual, spirit and matter. Through every subject we can reach that integrality, but it's not done. It's just not done because we don't have that vision to look at a flower and see its physics, chemistry and everything and go right up to the presence of the divine in it. Or looking at human anatomy, perhaps that's how Leonardo da Vinci conceived it. Some of his sketches, it's so beautiful to see them in the museum. I have forgotten whether it was London or New York, somewhere. Anyway, so wonderful to see that museum of anatomy where his anatomical drawings. Now you at once see in that geometry, anatomy, beauty. It's very hard to say whether it's art or science. Everything comes fused together. So here Satyavan is saying, I have that vision, and with that vision I have seen you. The Godhead looked at me from familiar scenes. This is real seeing. I witnessed the virgin bridals of the dawn behind the glowing curtains of the sky. When someone asked a Zen master, what is the difference between some spiritual seeing and ordinary seeing? He said there are three stages. First is when we see the sea and when we see the tree and when we see the bird. When we look at the sea, the tree, the bird, we see the tree, see the bird. Then when we look at the sea, the tree, the bird, we do not see the sea, we do not see the bird, we do not see the tree. Then the third stage is when once again, when we look at the sea, we did see the sea. When we look at the bird, we see the bird. It is wonderful. The third stage is when the two are integrated together, like how the divine was looking at Kiki the cat, looking at us mortals, looking at so many things. This is the true integral vision. So to an extent, he has been able to see behind the forms. I witnessed the virgin bridals of the dawn. He was not just seeing morning, but vision of Usha, the goddess, behind the glowing curtains of the sky, or vying in joy with the bright morning steps I paced along the slumberous coasts of noon. This is so interesting and so inspiring. We keep saying, Bhagwan nahi dikhai deta, Bhagwan nahi dikhai deta. We don't see God, we don't see God. First of all, this living God we don't see. Later on, this God will come. But we cannot even see this God who is scattered himself and his beauty everywhere. To start with, at least we can see and appreciate that God. Every morning he comes to us as Usha, he flows for us like the river and like this ocean. This is nothing but a vision of God. That's what Sri Aurobindo says. Whose is the hand that has painted the glow in the blue of the sky, in the green of the forest. And the other day, I was reminded of this Hindi song by Ashok ji. This Hindi song, ये कौन चित्रकार है, ये कौन चित्रकार है, किसने इस वसुंधरा को हरा भरा किया है, आकाश को रंगों से भरा है. So there is that behind the form one can have that vision. This is accessible, and this is what Satyavan has seen. Or the gold desert of the sunlight crossed, traversing great wastes of splendor and of fire. Or met the moon gliding, amazed through heaven, in the uncertain wideness of the night. So he says, I have seen all these. I have seen the gold desert, through the waste of space, sunlight crossing, and the moon gliding through heavens. Or the stars marched on their long sentinel routes, pointing their spears through the infinitudes. So maybe, I hope, next time we see the stars, we will feel they are the rishis with their spear points marching through sky towards an unknown goal. So this is how Satyavan has seen. He is lending us this vision. The day and dusk reveal to me hidden shapes. Figures have come to me from secret shores, and happy faces looked from ray and flame. What are these faces? I have heard strange voices cross the ether's waves. The centaur's wizard song has thrilled my ear. It's a bit strange, this line. Centaur is strange. According to one, they were gods who became titans. Then another mythology, the Greek mythology, they are basically monstrous beings with face of the upper part of a human and the lower part of a animal. So these are the centaurs, and they're very strong and mighty. So he has heard their hooves, their trample, their songs. I have glimpsed the apsaras bathing in the pools. The apsaras, again, as Sri Aurobindo has revealed to us, that you can see them in the beauty of the dawn, scattering their light through the sky. Every day one can glimpse the apsaras. The apsaras are born out of the churning of the ocean of milk. They came out of the ocean of the milk, and they were given to heavens, Indra, as they have their own role to play. Though they are daughters of waters, that's how the name comes, Apas, so Apsara. But they are beings who do a work of light. They draw the ascetic out of his loneliness, out of his one-sided pursuit, and fill his heart, invade his heart with a song of beauty and joy and light, and show him the other side of heaven's face, which is missing to his vision. So he has glimpsed the apsaras bathing in the pools. I have seen the wood nymphs peering through the leaves. So wood nymphs, it's of course the Vedic vision that behind every creation, material creation, there is a corresponding Godhead and deity. So wood nymphs is the spirit of nature which roams amidst the trees and in the wilds. And he has glimpsed them because he has grown up in nature. So when he looked at the tree, he could see the spirit of the tree behind. The winds have shown to me their trampling lords. I have beheld the princes of the sun, burning in 1,000-pillared homes of light. So he has seen all this behind nature. He has seen the truths, the goddesses, the godheads through which nature works every day. Rather, they are the ones who reveal themselves through nature. And this way, when we look at whole creation, it changes the way we look at it. So now my mind could dream and my heart fear that from some wonder couch beyond our air, Risen in a wide morning of the gods, thou drovest thy horses from the thunderous world. So look at these lines. He says, therefore my mind is thinking, but at the same time it is afraid. So what is the fear? That will be revealed. That on one side, because I have had these visions, I have a feeling that are you real or are you a vision? Are you actually a physically embodied creation? Or are you an immortal God who, like many times I have seen these gods, goddesses, apsaras, wood nymphs, maybe you are one of them. So what is the fear? If you are one of them, you will just go away. So this is the fear, that you have appeared and next moment you will be gone, taking away my heart with you. Because this is what the story of Pururava, that the apsara comes, takes his heart and goes away. So he says, maybe you are one of them. Although to heaven thy beauty seems allied, much rather would my thoughts rejoice to know that mortal sweetness smiles between thy lids, and thy heart can beat beneath a human gaze, and thy aureate bosom quiver with a look, and its tumult answer to an earthborn voice. Again, the mystery of the incarnation. These are marvelous lines. We have that poem of Amalda. I wish I could remember the full thing, but let me not try. Where he says that, I have hands of clay to supplicate. So I would want thy beauty molded into a human face. Because these are my hands. In Hindi I read a wonderful poem. Dur Vasi Dev Mere. Just 3-line poem. And he said, Dur Vasi Dev Mere. पहुंच क्या तुम तक सकेंगे कांपते ये फूल मेरे. You stay far away, O Lord. Will my trembling flowers coming out of my trembling hands ever reach you? So the divine becomes human. But then there is another problem. We say, oh, human being, who says you are divine? That is our problem. When he utterly becomes human, behaves like human, his heart begins to beat like human, he rejoices and cries like human. He has teardrops in his eyes like human. He misses, loses like human. Then we say, oh, you are simply human. But Satyavan is not like that. Fortunately, he is a genuine pakka disciple, not like kacha disciple who looks at divine and says, oh, you are just a mortal human. Here is Satyavan. He says, I would want you. I feel you are heavenly. Your beauty speaks of heaven, but I would rather want that you be with me like a human being. And look how he will say further. That's why the avatar comes. That's why Krishna assumes a human form. That's why Shri Aurobindo comes. The mother comes in a human form. And we, like stupid fellows, say, oh, so there you are. Who says you are divine? But this is Satyavan, who says that I would rather prefer, if thy heart can beat beneath a human gaze, that mortal sweetness smile between the lids. If they are just those godlike sweetnesses under the lids which never blink, then I cannot even relate with them. If our time-vexed affections thou canst feel, if you can feel my pain, my sorrow, time-vexed affections, earth's ease of simple things can satisfy, if thy glance can dwell content on earthly soil, and this celestial summary of delight, thy golden body dally with fatigue, oppressing with its grace our terrain, while the frail, sweet, passing taste of earthly food delays thee, and the torrent sleeping wine descend. Let thy journey cease. Come down to us. This is invocation of the Divine Mother by a mortal heart. That's why the divine becomes human. Because some Satyavan somewhere has wanted him to become human and come and tread the earthly soil. Look at these lines. I think we will read these again, stop with these lines, invoking her presence. Although this is human invocation of the Divine Mother. We have the invocation of the Divine Mother, which is, of course, Ashupati's invocation. He has the great vision, but we are humans. So we cannot see that the might of all that never came, yet came down, the light that leans from the unrealized vast. This is the vision of the seer. He has already seen. He has no need to, he has need for her to come down for us. But if we were to invoke the Divine Mother, what would we say? Many times this feeling comes, Mother, I know you are here. We feel the presence. We know the protection, the grace, countless examples. Constantly we know she surrounds us. But still something in our clay, in our matter says, Mother, this is not enough. We want you in the physical form. We want you to be in our midst, wearing a human body. For whose sake? For our sake. Can you sacrifice that heaven? Look at these lines. Although to heaven thy beauty seems elite, much rather would my thoughts rejoice to know that mortal sweetness smiles between thy lids, and thy heart can beat beneath a human gaze, and thy aureate bosom quiver with a look, and its tumult answer to an earth-born voice. And she did embody that. When somebody lost her father, she, a little child, went with her mother, who had just become a widow, to the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother comes and she has a tear in her eyes. She is not giving lecture. Oh, Anityam, Asukham, Lokam, Gita has written, don't you know, you have come to ashram, still you are attached. No, she has a tear in her eyes. She feels that compassion leaning down on earth. Tear is that identification of the divine. She feels our pain. Otherwise, how she will cure it if she doesn't feel our pain? This word will be revealed to us in the next book. And then she tells this lady, she embraces her, pats her. Then she says, do you want to see him? Now she was not ready for this. Do you want to see him? She didn't know what to say. He is with me, very happy, very safe, very much at peace. Do you want to see him? So for a moment she was flabbergasted, stunned. No lecture, no philosophy, a deep understanding of her human pain and misery. And out of that compassion, suddenly for a moment, even wanting to lift up earth's screen. And then she says, Mother, if he is with you, I want nothing else. And look at how the Divine Mother had the human heart she embodied. Not that she was limited to this, that will be our folly, but she assumed. When this lady came and gave everything that she had, she said, no, don't give everything to me. Keep some, lot of money, jewelry. She gave her back. No, Mother, I want to give everything to you. I know that. But when your child grows up, she will need money. So, Mother, but I can take from you. Who knows? Will you like to ask somebody else? So she says, no, Mother, but I am sure when she, whatever is needed, you will give. So Mother said, you keep it now. Take it that I am giving it to you. You have already given me. So people often say she was practical. No. She was practical in the sense that she understood human heart, human pain, human misery, human ways. And therefore she leaned to this because she knew the human play very well. So in spite of, and this I am saying, it's not written, this story is not written anywhere. Just take my word for it. This right from the horse's mouth I have heard. I can't obviously reveal the name. So it's something so beautiful that how she understood. So here he is saying, if our time vexed affections thou canst feel. Can you feel our pain? Don't give me a lecture or philosophy on yoga, I know that. Can you feel my pain? Look at the imploration of the aspiring soul. Earth's ease of simple things can satisfy, Mother Divine. I cannot make a golden temple for you. I cannot make a marble palace for you. I cannot, have that kind of a huge place. But I would invite you into my little kutia. What can I offer you? If thy glance can dwell content on earthly soil. Maybe as prasadam, I can give you what I eat every day, simple food. And the celestial summary of, if thy glance can dwell content on earthly soil, and this celestial summary of delight, thy golden body dally with fatigue. If you become human, I know you will have to bear the fatigue. You'll have to toil like us in the soil. Be in our midst, maybe with summer and winter and rain, you will have to bear all this. So, can you do this? Thy golden body dally with fatigue, oppressing with its glance our terrain, while the frail, sweet, passing taste of earthly food. You have eaten foods of paradise. I can only give you simple things. Delays thee, and the torrent sleeping wine. In heavens, people take somras. So he's saying, I can't give you somras. I have a stream nearby which is leaping. I can bring that water to you. Not even a highly filtered water, but will you be satisfied with this? Descend. Let thy journey cease. Come down to us. We will stop with this aspiration. Restart in August. We'll just have a few minutes of meditation followed by Prashad.